Welcome to the 252 Workshop. My name's Mr. Paul. We're the 252 Workshop because the Bible says in Luke chapter 2 verse 52 that Jesus grew in wisdom, in stature, and in favor with God and with man. So the purpose of the 252 Workshop is for us to learn things from the Bible as we grow so we can have a good relationship with God, with our parents and family, and with those around us. If you see over here, there is a chair. We are going to have a very special guest today in the 252 Workshop. Our word for this month is integrity. Integrity is choosing to be truthful in everything we say and do. Our Bible verse for this month is Proverbs 10:9. Anyone who lives without blame walks safely, but anyone who takes a crooked path will get caught.
Before the day I took a breath, you had a plan for my every step. You promised to always be by my side. I believe that you are the way, you are the truth, you are the light. So I sing this to you. You keep your promises every day. I will believe in everything that you say. Yeah, in the dark I know you're making a way. Jesus, I will trust you. You're always good in everything that you do, and I know everything that you say is true. And every moment you are leading me through. Jesus, I will trust you. I wanna be honest and true and do what's right the way you do. You're teaching me to take a stand and live for you, 'cause I believe that you are the way, you are the truth, you are the light. So I sing this to you. You keep your promises every day. I will believe in everything that you say. Yeah, in the dark I know you're making a way. Jesus, I will trust you. You're always good in everything that you do, and I know everything that you say is true. And every moment you are leading me through. Jesus, I will trust you. Even in the moments I feel alone, I know I can trust that you're working and holding my world in your hands. Even in the moments I feel alone, I know I can trust that you're working and holding my world in your hands. You are the way, you are the truth, you are the life. So I sing this to you. You keep your promises every day. I will believe in everything that you say. Yeah, in the dark I know you're making a way. Jesus, I will trust you. You're always good in everything that you do, and I know everything that you say is true. And every moment you are leading me through. Jesus, I will trust you.
Today we've got Chad Sanders with us, and he is an assistant principal. Where are you the assistant principal at?
I'm at T.G. Scott Elementary School, right here in Forsyth, Georgia.
All right. Well, Chad, we've been talking about integrity, and you work with kids a lot. What would you say, being you work with the elementary kids, what
Right.
would you say is a good definition
Okay.
of integrity?
And I love that word because integrity is something that is important for kids to learn at a young age. But I would define as integrity as doing what is right even when no one's watching. And I think of Lou Holtz, a famous football coach, coached 600 something wins, had numerous bowl appearances, and his one rule he had with his players was do the right thing.
Right.
Do the right thing.
We learned about that in week number 1. There was these 4 young men, they were probably between age 15 and 21. Name was Daniel, and they changed the other 3 to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They had learned about God in Israel, And then King Nebuchadnezzar came and he took the best of the best kids back to Babylon. And they had to make a choice whether they were going to still follow God or be like everybody else. So that was a time that they had to show integrity when their parents weren't around, their friends weren't around. It was a tough decision, but they decided to make the right choice.
That's right. And I even think of Jesus with the Luke 2:52 verse, as your theme ties into. You know, Jesus, it said in Luke 2:52 that Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favor among God and people. Mm-hmm. And when you're talking about growing, that's as a young child, learning wisdom and growing in wisdom, you're talking in essence about growing in integrity. And if you have integrity, you're going to gain God's favor, and people are going to like you. People are going to want to be your friend. People are going to want to hang out with you. And tying it back to school, what you said in the beginning, I was just thinking, you know, I work with kids every day at school.
Right.
And have been for the last probably 15 years. I know I don't look it, but this gray hair here shows it. But when kids arrive in the morning, for instance, let's say they're in a car, not them driving, that's the parents driving. Don't be confused, because there's little bitty kids. So the kid, mama drives up, and a child gets out, and a piece of paper or something falls out on the ground. I've seen kids look at that paper that they knocked out and knew they did it and just keep on going. But I have seen children with integrity reach down and grab that paper and put it back in the car. And that's something small.
Yes.
But it shows integrity.
Right. All the small little things that you think nobody's paying attention to.
That's right. Or it could be something simple as the mom saying, "I love you, Paul," as they get out of the car, and then they think they're too cool to say it back, and they just kind of just act like they don't hear their mom when really they heard them. And if you want to do the right thing, tell your mom you love her back. It's still cool, even in elementary school.
My dad used to honk his horn when he was picking me up in 5th grade. I was like, "Dad, please don't, you're embarrassing me." But he was just loving me. He was like, "Honk, honk, I'm here for you." And I'm like, "Oh, no, Dad."
One last thing about getting in the car. I saw the other day a little pre-K child. So this child's probably 4 years old. And they had a 4th grade brother. The brother got out first and started walking and then stopped, came back, helped the little brother get out of the car and walked him into the building.
Wow.
That's integrity.
Yes.
He could have been thinking about himself and walked on in and just left his little bitty brother.
Right.
Instead, he came back and helped his little brother walk in.
That's a
Those
great
are
example.
little ways
Right.
of just showing integrity. But it's not just on a car. It could be on a bus. You know, when, for instance, a kid got in trouble for not showing integrity. And here's what he did. You know, when the bus rules are, when you get to a railroad crossing, do you know what they're supposed to do?
They have to stop. Look both ways.
Stop, look both ways,
That's
and
right.
every child is quiet.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the rules is you cannot talk, and everybody knows it. It's riding the bus. And this one kid used this moment. You know what he did?
What did he do?
He did that, and everybody busted out laughing. Now, is it funny? Yeah, it's funny. But was that the time he was supposed to do that?
No.
Not at all, because it's distracting to the bus driver.
That's right.
Who's trying to watch for trains, and he got in trouble.
That's right.
So there's all kinds of ways, little ways that people recognize and can see integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say that you get to school, and then you have to go to class.
Right.
All right, that's what you do at school, guys. Don't forget that. So you go to class, and you're sitting in there, and you didn't do your homework last night.
Oh, yes. I have been there.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you can't do the homework, you just don't know how, that's understandable.
Right.
But if you at least try, even if it's wrong, it shows integrity.
Right.
Because you're supposed to do it. So just try it, even if it's wrong. But if you know how to do it and you're just simply not wanting to do homework, is that showing integrity, Mr. Paul?
No, that's not into it.
No, not at all. I'll give you an example of some awesome integrity.
All right.
Last week we had a new kid that came. I'm not going to say his name.
Right.
But I'll call him JoJo.
Yes.
That's not his real name. So JoJo came in. He came from out of state. Didn't know anybody. He was scared.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
you don't even know a single person in the school.
Right.
You're the new kid. Everybody else has been in class.
Right.
So I walked him down to the classroom and I asked him, I said, "Hey, JoJo, do you know anybody here?" He's like, "No, sir." And I said, "Are you nervous?" And he said, "Yes, sir."
I'd be nervous.
I would be too.
I'd be scared.
So I said, "Well, I'll walk in with you and I'll introduce you to some people." Okay.
Okay.
So as I opened the door and met the teacher meet the mom, I asked the kids, I said, have you ever been the new kid before or gone to something, a party, and you didn't know anybody there at a birthday party?
Mm-hmm.
And someone kind of raised their hand, and I said, well, that's JoJo. JoJo isn't new and doesn't know anybody. And I saw this boy raise his hand. You know what he did?
What do you do?
He said, can JoJo sit by me?
Oh, that is so great.
That is integrity. That's doing the right thing.
Yes.
So JoJo was like smiling, like went over and sat beside him. And I went and checked on JoJo at recess, and guess what?
Was he with that young man?
He sure was.
All right.
He was sitting there playing football, throwing a football with that young man.
That is great.
That's integrity.
Yes.
So here's another example, happened from last week. Okay, a child, I'm gonna call him Child A.
Child A.
Saw Child B
Mm-hmm.
steal a pencil sharpener from Child C.
Oh, wow.
Well, this person, Child A, saw it happen,
Right.
but Child A didn't like Child C.
Oh.
Child A didn't like the one who this pencil sharpener got stolen.
Right.
And because he didn't like him, he didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, he's probably cheering the guy out.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, they deserve it. You know,
Right. He had it coming.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then he got to thinking about it more, and I was like, man, that's wrong.
Right.
So he went to the teacher, and don't raise your hand in front of the whole class and say, B just stole the pencil sharpener! Just quietly go to the teacher and just say, hey, I saw him take the pencil sharpener out of so-and-so's book bag.
Right.
You know what the teacher did?
What?
Teacher went over, asked Child B, do you have a pencil sharpener that doesn't belong to you? And sure enough, he pulled it out of his pocket and gave it to him. And she said, well, we'll talk later. That person never knew that Child A had told them.
Right. Right.
And Child C didn't know either. But he ended up getting the pencil sharpener back. Now that's doing the right thing.
Yes.
And sometimes, you know, what if Child B had heard it? Then Child B would be mad at who?
At Child A.
Child A.
Yes.
And that happens sometimes. But
Right.
even if it does, did Child B do wrong?
Yes, he did wrong.
They stole
Yes.
the pencil sharpener.
Yes. Yes.
Did Child A show integrity?
Yes.
Yes. Even though they didn't like the kid,
Right.
they still did the right thing.
They were making wise choices.
Yeah. Has anything ever happened to you in the classroom before?
Oh, wow.
You gotta think way back, and you know, these years of wisdom are showing.
Oh, I did something bad one time.
Not Mr. Paul.
Yes.
What did you do?
Back in our day, we had chalkboards.
I remember blackboards. I remember.
Yeah, chalkboards, yes.
Yes.
And we were having a substitute teacher, and I put the chalk in the eraser. There was an eraser thing that the teacher would erase with. So when the teacher wrote all out there and went to erase it, it made all squiggly circles. That was not good.
That's not good at all.
Yes, I did apologize to the teacher.
Oh, that's good.
Because I think I turned 8 shades of red. That's not a good thing to do. And I did the right thing by apologizing to the teacher.
Good. All right, I've got a situation at recess.
Okay.
All right, I get all these scenarios happen all the time because that's what I do.
Yes.
Well, there was this girl who was crying when I went outside.
Right.
She was just crying, had tears, crocodile tears coming out of her eyes. And I'll call her Sarah. That's not her name, but I'll call her. I said, Sarah. I said, why are you crying? And she said, well, I thought I had a good friend, but I guess I don't. And I said, Sarah, why? What happened? And she said, well, I'll call her Tara. Tara said she would play with me when we got at recess and get on the swing with me.
Right.
But when we got out there, she saw another one of her friends and decided to go play with her instead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is that right?
No, that's not right at all. It's not keeping your word.
It's not keeping your word. It's not showing integrity. It's not doing the right thing.
Right.
You know, I've seen it with another boy who did the right thing. A boy said he would play kickball with his friends, got outside and didn't know somebody had brought a football.
Oh.
What he loves is football. He likes
Yes.
football more than
Yes.
kickball.
Yes.
But he went on ahead and played kickball for half of recess to do what he said he was going to do. And in the last half of recess, he played football.
Wow, that was...
But he still did what he was supposed to do.
Yes, he was making wise choices.
That's right. That's showing integrity.
Yes.
No integrity would be like, well, forget you. They have a football.
That's right.
You know, unless the one that asked you to play kickball both wanted to play football.
You know,
Yeah,
we
that's
learned,
okay.
we learned about that with a man named Gehazi last week.
Really?
He worked for the prophet Elisha.
Oh, I remember this story.
Yes, and the man came, I forgot his name. Naaman. Naaman
Naaman
came and wanted to get healed. He brought gold, he brought clothes, he brought silver. And Elijah said, no, we're not going to take any of it. And Gehazi went and left and took some gold. He made up a story. He said, we've got some prophets just came and visited. And he snuck back and tried to hide it from Elijah.
And you saw it happen to him.
Yes, he got in trouble.
He ended up getting really sick.
Yes, he got leprosy because he had not had integrity. He lied and made up a bunch of lies.
Yeah. So sometimes not showing integrity will cost you something.
Yes,
for him it was his health for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's sad. That's sad. Some other ways. Oh, at recess. I'll go back to recess for a second.
Okay.
You know what I love to see?
What?
I love it when I see people showing integrity. There was this child that was a little awkward. I'll admit it. You know, they didn't play normal. They looked kind of funny when they ran. You know, they just dressed a little different. But they weren't mean. They were just kind of awkward.
That was me in school. I was short and round. I did not do good in sports. I was the last one picked a lot of times. I'm serious.
You didn't wear that at school, did you?
Maybe that was the reason why.
Well, this girl was just walking around, just kind of kicking at grass and stuff.
Right.
And I was sitting there talking with these two girls, and I asked them, I said, what is so-and-so like? Mm-hmm. And they said, well, I don't know, we've never talked to them. And I said, what if you were that person?
Right.
And they both kind of looked at each other, and then one of them said, let's go talk to her.
Really?
And I said, that's a great idea.
Good.
And they went over to talk with her. And they ended up being friends.
Well,
it was just
wonderful.
because they hadn't taken the time to get to know her. So what is doing the right thing? What is showing integrity? Getting outside your own comfort zone and doing something as simple as going over to someone who doesn't have anybody playing with them.
That's right.
Just to talk to them. That's being like Jesus.
I got to do that this morning at church.
Really?
Yes.
At recess?
No, at church. A bunch of people were there, and a couple came in, and they were looking for a place to sit, and I scooted over one seat. I said, come on, you can sit over here. And they were visiting. And they felt awkward because they came in a little bit late, and they had a place to sit. I introduced myself, gave them a fist bump because of COVID, and told them to come back.
That is so cool. And I bet that made an impression on them. And I bet when they left that day, that's one of the standouts. If you were to say to that person, what was the best part about the day? And it was probably when you said, hey, come join me. And you showed integrity.
Right.
That's a great example.
I know they were not glad standing next to me when it came to the singing.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by today,
Hey,
Mr. Chad. Thank you
my
so
pleasure,
much.
my pleasure.
And you have a great day.
And you as well.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
Maybe once in a while you cover up an itty bitty lie with a big fat smile. But an itty bitty lie still lie, and that's not your style. But stick to the middle of the path from mile to mile. Maybe you want it real bad, so you take it. Maybe you make the promise, but then you break it. Maybe you didn't learn the words, so you fake it. And you feel a little low. But if instead you move straight ahead, keeping your promises, you'll be living straight up. If you move too far to the side, then you're gonna get stuck. It might feel like a little lie, but it's gonna catch up. Do what you say you're gonna do, you'll be on your way up. Said you're on your way up. You'll be living straight up. Maybe you've got a crew, and you said we're gonna do the good things that good friends do. And everybody's still a good friend who sticks like glue. Cause everybody did what they said and everybody was true. Maybe you wanted it but you didn't take it. Maybe you promised and then you didn't break it. Maybe you learned the words so you didn't fake it. And now everybody knows. But if instead you're moving straight ahead, keeping your promises, you'll be living straight up. If you move too far to the side, then you're gonna get stuck. It might feel like a little lie, but it's gonna catch up. Do what you say you're gonna do, you'll be on your way up. Said you're on your way up. You'll be living straight up. If you move too far to the side, then you're gonna get stuck. It might feel like a little lie, but it's gonna catch up. Do what you say you're gonna do, you'll be on your way up. Said you're on your way up. You can choose to be true, not just to everybody else, but true to you. You can choose to be true, not just to everybody else, but true to you. True to you.
I'm so glad you could join us. We've talked about integrity. Mr. Chad has given us examples on how we can show integrity each and every day. This week, I hope you make wise choices. And remember, integrity is choosing to be truthful in everything you say and do. We'll see you next time.